What's up again, everyone? John from PhoneArena here. You're watching our in-depth video review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. It's available right now here in the US, starting at $500 for a 16GB version. You could purchase a 32GB one for $100 more, and you can tell it's the all-white version. It's worth noting that Samsung is going to also have the metallic gray version of it out soon as well. It's the latest honeycomb flavored tablet we've seen, and we're just going to check it out and see how it stands compared to all the other recent honeycomb tablets we checked out thus far. Alright, so let's get the obvious out of the way, but the first thing to capture our attention with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 inches, its razor-thin profile. It measures in at 0.34 inches thick, and it is indeed the thinnest and lightest tablet on the market. It's definitely what stands out most with this one here. It just edges out the iPad 2 just by a hairline, but we do notice the vast difference in weight. Much lighter with this tablet. Very easy to hold too. Does feel comfortable, although we're not too thrilled by the choice of materials. It's definitely plasticky by nature. It uses this white plastic with a combination silver trim around it. Doesn't really stand out as much versus some of the metallic finish of some other tablets out there, but still you got to hand it to Samsung for crafting such a beautiful looking tablet, especially when it's razor thin. Additionally, one of the other alluring things about the Galaxy Tab 10.1 inch is its beautiful looking 10.1 inch PLS LCD display, which has a resolution of 1280 by 800 pixels, and in fact it provides some really nice crisp looking visuals. Very easy to make out, even tiny text, not a problem at all to see. It has some clear looking visuals, and equally respectable is just the color production. It's very vivid, bright, and saturated. Definitely like how it pops out. You could tell with it. It's very nice. Viewing angles are more than acceptable. We really didn't have any issues using it in direct sunlight. And on top of that, it has just a really nice luminance over all the other Android tablets we checked out so far. We actually find stereo support just because on both the left and right edges of the tablet you have these speakers. Built into the border, you can tell that you have the front-facing 2-megapixel camera for video chat and self-portraits. Alongside it, you have also the proximity and light sensors as well. On the bottom side, we find the proprietary dock connection port. It's what's used for data connection and power. Also, we find down the road that it'll probably be used to output to a television via an HDMI cable of some sort. You also have the pinhole here for the microphone. Meanwhile, on the top edge of the tablet, you have some physical buttons. You have the dedicated power button and also the volume rocker. They are raised, very easy to press, and we like their tactile response. And you also have the 3.5mm headset jack there as well. And finally, in the rear, you have the 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera with a single LED flash. There's no access to the battery, and unfortunately, though, it doesn't offer additional storage capacity with a micro SD card slot. There's actually nothing too out of the ordinary with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 with its processor, just because it uses the same one we find on other honeycomb flavored tablets, which is actually the 1GHz dual-core NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor. So for most basic operations, just like navigating across the home screen, it does it effortlessly and it's pretty smooth with its operation. Opening up apps is not a problem as well. We did run a couple different benchmark tests on it. It didn't put up some stellar numbers, but nonetheless, it's still pretty quick with its overall operation. However, that when you use it in portrait, though, you still notice a little bit of a slowdown or lag or delay with its operation, but then again, it could be just something attributed to Honeycomb's programming. Interestingly enough, we're treated to a stock Android 3.1 experience out of the gate, whereas we thought that we would see Samsung's TouchWiz user interface on top, but it'll more than likely come down the road with some sort of software update, but still, you're still presented with all the personalization aspects of Honeycomb. What you find with Android 3.1 is the ability to actually resize certain widgets to a specific length, which is pretty neat, so you have more room for other things. You can do it with things like the mail widget or the bookmark widget. Unfortunately, though, it's not available with all widgets with Honeycomb, but we would like to see it happen down the road. The app panel is laid out in your traditional fashion, nothing really different about it. You have your grid-like format, and you have your on-screen buttons on the bottom left corner in the system bar. Notifications panel on the bottom right here. You get access to some of the settings and quick functions, such as the ability to turn off Wi-Fi, flight mode, and also the brightness. You have also the button here, which is your basically your task manager pane here. You get scrollable this time, so you go through a bunch of different applications that you recently ran. And overall, it does have all the stuff that you'd find with any other Honeycomb tablet out there. In terms of the core organizer apps found on the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, it's pretty much the same as you find on any other Android Honeycomb tablet out there. We'll quickly show them to you here. You have the calculator one, which is basically like an expanded view of the one you find on a smartphone. Calendar one's just nice. It lays it out in a good two-panel view here. You have day, week, and also monthly view. And of course, you could sync it up with your Google account. And the other thing, of course, is like your contacts. You go in here. Again, uses the left and right panel system. You have your scrollable listing on the left, and when you select a person, it displays all the content on the right side. And it's a common theme that you see throughout Honeycomb in general. When it comes to inputting text on the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, we didn't have any issues just because the keyboards are more than well sized for our fingers, and on top of that, more than responsive. The one we have here is the Samsung keyboard. It's pretty much almost similar to the stock one, pretty well sized. The only thing different about it is that you have some emoticons right here in the bottom right. You also have the stock Android keyboard available to you. Again, still very responsive to the touch, even with the portrait option. And the last one here is the talk-back keyboard, which is pretty much reminiscent to the keyboard you find on an Android smartphone. Nothing really better than the other two. We definitely stick with either the Samsung one or the stock Android keyboard. We all remember the frustrating web browsing experience that we saw with the original Samsung Galaxy Tab, but luckily the 10.1, it's a lot better. It manages to load our page here in a timely manner. On top of that, it's very responsive to the touch when it comes to just navigation. You have pinch gestures to zoom in, zoom out, and with flash support, you get that full desktop-like experience, and it doesn't slow down or stutter in the wake of flash content. Finding the stock Honeycomb music player, it's still visually appealing to the eye just because it has this really nice looking 3D carousel effect. You could always resort to a 2D view, but it's definitely nice seeing this option. When you're playing a song, it displays your usual things like your album cover, track information, on-screen controls. As far as the audio quality from the speaker, it's definitely on the neutral side, not as powerful as we'd like, and in noisy environments, it does seem to drown out. One thing we continue to like about the Gallery app with Honeycomb, it has this really nice 3D effect to it, as if it's stacking the albums on top of one another. It just gives it a nice visual cue. When you make a selection, it's going to display in a grid-like format, and when you select another one, you'll be able to actually do a couple of different things, such as share it with a variety of different services, and on top of that, you're treated to a minor set of editing functions as well. Playing high-definition video is no problem for the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. The video we have here is encoded in MPEG-4 1920 by 1080 resolution, so full 1080p. You can tell it has a good frame rate to it, no slowdown or lag, and on top of that, lots of details with it. Thanks to its brilliant-looking display, it just makes for an astounding experience. When it comes to other apps, besides the core ones that you find on any other Honeycomb tablet out there, we're only presented with two different ones here. You have the Samsung Hub app, which allows you to actually download music directly to a tablet, whether it be individually or buying the full album itself. The other one here is the Samsung App Store, which doesn't really add anything new just because it has the same offerings that you find in the Android market. Using the same camera UI that's found with TouchWiz 4.0, it's not necessarily optimized for tablet usage in our opinion. You have your on-screen shutter on the right-hand side, as well as a toggle switch and quick access to the Gallery app, while on the left side you have a bunch of different icons that offer access to different things, such as turning off the flash, switching to the front-facing camera, different shooting modes, the options, and all that. The thing that we like about it does offer touch focus, which allows you to easily focus into a specific area. When it comes to image quality, with its 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera, it's neither spectacular or terrible looking at the same time. In fact, it's right there in the middle. Outdoor conditions and good lighting, it produces some soft looking details, which tends to make things look a little bit on the muddy side. Color production's on the warmer side too. It does a good job of taking macro shots, but for indoor shots with low lighting, there is some noise evident in the shots. The LED flash does a good job, but loses its potency for anything more than 5 feet away. Surprisingly enough, we definitely like the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 when it comes to shooting 720p video. It's a little bit better. You can tell with the video we have playing here that we shot in 720p, it's moving at a decent rate, 29 frames per second, and it's not choppy or laggy looking. And there's a good amount of detail too with its shot. At the same time, it does maintain a good level of exposure, so it's not abruptly changing. And on top of that, the audio quality is really nice just because it's distortion-free and sounds natural. Battery life with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 is pretty good just because it obtains the same rate that we found with the HTC Fly. We set its brightness and audio to the middle setting. We played a video continuously for 8 hours before it completely depleted. For normal operation, we easily managed to get a solid days of usage, so you don't have to worry about charging it throughout the day. At this point, there's no arguing there's plenty of competition brewing in the Honeycomb tablet market right now, just because the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 is following after others such as the Motorola Zoom, the G Slate, the Asus ePad Transformer, and the Acer Iconia Tab A500. But what's going for the Samsung Galaxy Tab is that it is the thinnest and lightest tablet out there in the market. It's definitely one of its standouts out there. It's impressive to say the least. Also, it has the best looking display on any Honeycomb device we've checked out thus far. And it's all priced competitively at $500 for the 16GB Wi-Fi only version, which definitely is something you want to think about. It still offers a pretty good experience with Android 3.1, but nothing different, although future updates will bring TouchWiz UI layered on top of it. Some might see that as a benefit, while others might not, but still, it's just nice to see a little bit of differences between all these Honeycomb tablets. However, it is missing some things that make it a little bit less appealing compared to the competition, such as the omission of a micro HDMI out port and even the ability to add additional storage capacity via micro SD card slot. But still, it stands on its own. It's a pretty good Android Honeycomb tablet. So if you'd like to learn more about the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, you can check it out on our website, PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching, guys.